Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Perillo, and I am printing something practical. Because, I was searching for something the other day. An article popped up, said, hey, you may try these practical prints. I'm like, I wonder if Diana could use, like, a little smartphone stand. So that's basically what I'm printing now, tonight. I know, not Star Wars, but don't worry, because in case you were worried. I do have the Gamorrean Guard print from last night. I need to remove the supports. I decided to wait until tonight to do that. Let me first show you everything I got, which includes just this one thing. This is as the label says, it is a pencil case. This is a Star Wars Cutest in the Galaxy Grogu pencil case. So I think it came all the way from the UK, potentially. Because it did not come domestically, which was kind of a surprise. It's like, it came by way of Royal Mail. Maybe it came by way of Canada then. So either way, I got a couple of them. One to not use, and then one to give to Jedi so that she could use it. The Cutest in the Galaxy there, for everybody's benefit. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, as I was printing out, I mean, of course, I went with the infill. I probably could have gone with a different kind of pattern for the infill, but yeah, because this is the kind of it's a translucent filament. Kind of it's neutral, but see-through, kind of jellyfish. Thought it was kind of a fun filament to use with this. Dynamic, right, if you will. So I am going to flip over to the other view so that I can start pulling the supports off of the guard, if y'all don't mind. Thank you very much. We've got guard. Some people say I'm guarded. Yeah, I am. I also have advice to share. Oh, by the way, speaking of advice, do y'all have any inclinations or favorite as far as live audio chat is concerned? Like Twitter Spaces or Clubhouse or Spotify. Spotify has something called Green Room. What do you think? Because I've been thinking about experimenting with the advice stuff in like a live video kind of or live audio capacity when I can, at least. Because I'm working, obviously, during the day, so I can't necessarily do it during the day. Woo! Where the hell did that go? The paint pens I gave up on. There are no more paint pens. Yeah, I don't think Discord though, because my goal would be to increase people listening, and Discord Discord's all about the people who are on your server already, and that's not as interesting to me. My goal would be to increase the amount of people who might tune in and listen. That's one of the reasons why I've been archiving. Hey, mine 37388. That's why I've been archiving on YouTube. I've been archiving the advice, right? Because it may pull in future listeners. So that's the goal, right? To basically pull in future people tuned in live on Twitch, or possibly take advice to a different format. I've also thought about basically exporting the audio from the clip, and then basically put it back into the podcast feed. Because I had my old Chris Perillo Show podcast, his life advice with Chris Perillo. For the lack of a better anything. Oh, green rooms in certain countries. Yeah, see, I'm inclined to go Twitter, just because that's where most of my social graph is. So I think that would be probably the most interesting, potentially. Alright. Gotta be careful. This one's got supports everywhere. So what I'm saying is that I may be experimenting with, like, basically trying to figure out how to reuse, you know, those advice clips that I do. So if I could just figure out how to easily extract the audio into an MP3 or convert into an MP3. Twitter Space is certainly hot space, one to many. Podcast version probably increase listen time. You know what I'm saying? Like if I do that, I feel it would work well. I mean, it kind of lends itself to a podcast, not as formal as a podcast. It's just more like recorded audio. But, you may need to use a different tool for there. Yeah, call for, exactly. Although, I'm not messing around with boring computer stuff. More like advice that matters. Life advice. So I'm just trying to think through. Yeah, Britt, this is the Gamorrean Guard from last night. The problem is I don't want to keep doing something if it's like a law of diminishing returns. But I feel that I could use Anchor again to import the audio and distribute. You're cleaning up one too. Oh, a Gamorrean Guard? Podcasts have been all the rage. I mean, I was one of the first people to podcast on the planet before it even had a name, before it was integrated in iTunes. No joke. But ultimately, YouTube came along, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's easy money. Well, I think that YouTube ship has sailed. I don't think YouTube is ever coming back for me. My channel is burned. I'd have to like set up completely different channel, completely new channel, completely new everything. Woo! What is this had more supports than I thought it needed. But it is what it is. Britt, I hope your print turned out okay. And by the way, shout out to Sith Lord Britt. One of our mods could do that. It'd be great. It'd be fantastic. There are even supports in there. Dang, dude. How the F diggity. You worried about my... Don't worry about my desk. Everyone's always worried about my desk. I am sitting here telling you not to worry about my desk. Of course, it's getting scratched up with all this support removal. But don't have much of a choice. It was never really a nice desk. Although how I'm gonna get some of those supports out may just be impossibly in there forever. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. So I walked up beside it and I warned the kids, now you better not touch it, those ropes are there for a reason. I said, maybe if you're good, I'll tie it to the back of our car and we could take it home, but I was only teasing. Went to the gift shop, stood in line, bought a souvenir miniature ball of twine, some window decals, and anything else they'd sell us. Bought a couple postcards, greetings from the twine ball. Wish you were here, want the folks back home, be jealous. Yeah. An SW shop owner got a little hot water. What, Mark? You've never been to Minnesota? I have been to Minnesota. I have. Couldn't even tell you the last time, but I have been. I've flown through Minneapolis. Flown through a lot of cities. Took you a minute for that to click in your head? Really? That was like my favorite song on the on that album. And sorry, by the way, if I miss any of your chats, it's because I can't see. Uh-oh. I've been to that Star Wars shop. We vlogged it, actually. It's somewhere in my YouTube channel, going to the Star Wars store. Jedi was just an infant, really. Oh, interesting. I'll have to look that up. I've been there. It's pretty cool. I'll have to see if I can dig up the... Y'all might be able to search for it on my YouTube channel. Because you'll get to it faster than I could right now. But something like went to the Star Wars store or going to the Star Wars store. I think we were done. I can't remember. Were we vlogging at that time? Yeah, I think we were. I think that was also the time I went to Kurt Cobain's home. His childhood home. Were we vlogging? Now I can't remember. We must have been vlogging at the time. She remembers every vlog in detail. No, she doesn't. I definitely do not. This does not look right. Something does not look right back here. Got your printed printer kit, putting it together. Oh, nice! Congratulations. Now we get to geek out together over it. That's the best. That is the best. And the good news is, if you need any 3D printer help, this little group of folks is usually willing to lend a hand, and they're smarter than I am. All advice? I haven't done any advice video yet. I'm cleaning off the supports for yesterday's print first. Ow. So he's trying to get the most of them. I'm still not sure what happened over here. It had to have been a part of the model, it looks like. This part back here just looks really, really strange. Maybe this wasn't a clean... They had two versions, and this one had... this version had bumps. I'll show you. Well, you can kind of see them. You see the bumps on the shoulder pads? Shoulder guards? This one... I thought was more detailed, at least in the shoulder guard, so I went with it over the one that did not have anything like it. Yeah. Sometimes that happens. You get foiled by poop. Sesam loves his poop. I don't even have to look up to tell you that's who it was. Am I right? I'm right. Poop on target. Are the sound effects working? No one's really said anything. I don't know if anybody's made any activity, so... I'm just going to assume they are. Tonight, after the stream, because I watched, what was the movie I wanted to watch? Not Bad Batch. I watched Bad Batch. Bad Batch was awesome. Of course, because, you know, it's Bad Batch. Very grateful to hear that they're renewing for Season 2. No, but, the movie, Suicide Squad. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't like, man, it was awesome. It had its moments. It was fine. It almost seemed like a better version of what they did the first time. Yeah, which is okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, it was fine. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it immensely. Would this have printed? Had James Gunn not directed, it probably would have flopped again. That would not have surprised me. I mean, I thought the premise was good. I enjoyed it. I have no complaints. I'm glad James Gunn was a part of it. The only thing I will say is I am definitely more of a fan of the MCU. That's all I'm going to say. Woo! That was my own sound effect. Eh? Trying to get... bit of support out of there, but I don't think it's ever coming out. It's moving around, but the problem is I can't get in there to get it out. You're not a fan of either? Well, I guess I saw a teaser. I wonder, are they going to be producing like a an animation of the Guardians of the Galaxy? A series? Animated series? Like, I know there's an animated series, but I mean like a different kind of animation on Disney Plus. More for adults, not necessarily for kids. Because the other animation was just a little juvenile for me. For Guardians of the Galaxy, that is. Kids, this here's what America is all about. Yeah, I'll give any new animated series a shot. Like, I enjoyed Harley Quinn when I watched a few episodes of it on HBO. It had really good writing, like really good writing. And that to me is the thing that keeps me interested in an animated series. It's got to have really good writing, really good, like sharp humor, good writing. The animation style doesn't really move me one way or another. Yeah, the only thing that bugs me about this one is I can't seem to get the supports out of there. They're not podcasts? What? Well, people have been misusing that term for eons. Yeah, so I'm going to be experimenting a little bit. But I like laying down the advice during these streams and then turning around and uploading them to YouTube. It's just figuring out, do I take the extra... How long will it take the extra step to upload, to transcode and upload to, you know, podcast feed every day? Which y'all would not be interested in because, let's face it, you watch me live on Twitch. It's so bad and so good. Fix him, dude. That's what I'm saying. Alright, so we've got a Gamorrean Guard. This is as good as I think I'm going to be able to get it. This Gamorrean Guard bust. Found it online. I'm like, yeah, it'd be good in that green. So give me a second. We'll get away from this elbow cam in just one moment. Oops. There we go. Okay. Star Wars Mazes. Another one is shipped. It's awesome. Thank you, Kurt, for getting that picture earlier. Here's the guard. The Gamorrean Guard. Gamorrean Guard. Bust. Busted. Busted. Literally busted. I don't know. I mean, I like busts. I mean, like, especially like really cool ones, really nice ones. I could have made this one even better if I used a different filament. But I like the color. I like how the color turned out. Except for this one part back here that was just a little bizarre. It's like a sash that kind of got half printed, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's going to be facing the back, so at a distance, it looks like a Gamorrean Guard. So it looks like 84% of the way through on this print. I've got some advice I'd like to lay down, if you don't mind. Oops, sorry about that. Did not mean to knock the mic. Give me a second. Ah, no, that's not what I needed. Cheese and crackers. Gave me way too much more than I was bargaining for. You hate LA traffic? Well, I do too. That's why I'm not there. Well, it's not the only reason why I'm not in LA. It's one good reason not to be there, I'll say that. Let me check. Here we go. Now that we've got that drop, everything's going to be somewhat paused as I go and puff everything away to lean in. I'm going to try not to touch the desk, and I'm going to try not to do this. I'm going to try. It's not a guarantee, but I am going to try. I sometimes think about things that never happen, but I think that at some point in the future they might happen. And sometimes when those things that might happen in the future that ultimately never happen stress me out, I realize I'm burning energy. I'm wasting energy because I'm stressing out about things that have not happened yet. And then when I catch myself doing that, I think, well, what could I do to better protect myself from that future, if it was a future that I was stressed out about? And I choose to focus more on solutions rather than the problem. And not just the problem of thinking, because sometimes that's a problem. Sometimes I can't turn off my brain, especially, you go to bed at night, you got your smartphone charging, or at least you should be charging your smartphone when you go to bed. That's the best time to do it. Right there on the bedside. And my brain just starts going, right? Either thinking about the day's events, or maybe something I saw on television or on the internet that reminded me of something, and I start thinking. And then I think, oh man, I'm worried. I'm starting to get worried. And then I go even further into that thought and stress out even more. So instead of focusing on that problem, that thing that's stressing me out, this future eventuality that may never happen, I think, what could I do to stop that from happening? Now, if it's something like, oh man, it would be horrible to have an alien invasion, there's nothing I can do to stop it. At which point, I kind of have to, shake myself a little and go, wait, Chris, because I'm talking to myself at that point, Chris, you're worried about something that you are not in control of. I cannot control, despite popular opinion, I cannot control whether or not aliens invade. All right? Like, there's no UFO conspiracy theory, alien abduction world thing happening here, for the lack of a better word. I know full well that there are many thoughts that are worth continuing because they are concerns. But when those concerns overtake me, that's where I start to get concerned, because I'm stressing out about futures that just don't exist. It's probably happened to you. Your head hits the pillow. You start thinking, even when you weren't thinking about anything all day. And then you keep thinking, then you can't sleep. You're thinking about all your problems. Because problems creep up on you. And just when you think you can ignore your problems, that's really when they come and get you. At night, when you're going to bed, trying to go to sleep. not looking at any screen. When you start thinking about problems, you're going to get stressed out. It happens. We all get stressed out. You might be in the middle of a problem, and that stresses you out. But spending time thinking about problems that are in the future that may happen. We're not talking about problems in the future that are going to happen if you don't take care of something right now. We're talking about problems that you've invented, or your mind has given you, that you start stressing out about. And you start burning that energy, wasting that energy thinking about eventualities, which may never be eventualities. And I'm not saying it's not good to plan for eventualities. It is. It's important to plan. But understand, stressing out about future events that haven't happened yet and may never happen, this is where the term, let's cross that bridge when we get there, comes from. Thinking about that bridge when it may never exist, you're not making any kind of productive progress for any particular reality. You're thinking about a non-reality that could become reality. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that aliens may never invade, but thinking about it right now is not going to do any good. We'll confront that spaceship when it gets here. Stop yourself from stressing out about things that haven't happened yet. Or, what I prefer to do, especially when I'm thinking about problems, even if they happen to be rational problems or, well, irrational problems, I try to discard immediately. Like the whole, are aliens going to invade us, right? It could happen, right? That is true. It could happen, but it's not really rational to consider that as an eventuality that I need to plan for. I have to plan for other eventualities, things that more likely will happen in my life. Retirement being one of them. Okay, so I could sit here and stress out, like, how am I going to make retirement? My retirement, Well, right there is what I try to do. I ask how. So I contextualize that stress. I contextualize that thought. I contextualize the problem and frame it such that instead of burning my energy on a problem, I spend it thinking of solutions to either avoid the problem or to effectively address the problem, potentially before it crops up, or if it does crop up. Like, think through, all right, what's my plan? So then once I've got a plan, once I've got a way to address that problem, it doesn't disappear, but I've already got an answer to the question instead of just burning on the question, stressing out about something, especially the things that haven't happened yet and may never happen. Think through solutions. Don't just think about the problems. Think about the solutions to go with those problems. And I'm not going to say that coming up with solutions is as much of a waste of energy, because, it's critical thinking. That's never something that you should shy away from. Problem-solving skills, troubleshooting. But understanding what is relevant versus irrelevant, what is rational versus irrational, what is reality versus your fantasy. And I don't just mean aliens invading being a fantasy. It could happen. I mean more like, you're stressing out because you start to think that something is going to happen that is going to upend a certain part of your life, right? They're going to stop producing Star Wars figures. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I hope it never happens, right? But if I start thinking they're going to stop producing Star Wars figures, suddenly my thought patterns are going to focus on the problem. And I'm going to start scrambling, and I'm going to do everything I can do to avoid that problem from happening, right? And just like, oh my God, they're going to stop producing Star Wars figures. I got to get all the Star Wars figures now because they might stop producing them. Yes, but no. I doubt they will. Like, it's a very popular franchise. Like, they mint money with every collectible that happens to be manufactured. So it's not exactly a rational stress. But it could stress me out, right, if they did that. But if I spent my time thinking about, they might do it, therefore I need to change my behavior. You can't change your behavior based on what might happen, especially if it's not rooted in any amount of logic. It's just a guess. It's a possibility. To understand what is theoretical and what is something that's a bit more, well, I should say less theoretical, right? Like actual, this is going to happen. That is where you need to spend your time. But if you find yourself just spinning on stresses and stressing out about future eventualities that may or may not happen, you're going to spend your time planning for a future that doesn't exist. And when you spend your time planning for a future that doesn't exist, you lose time planning for a future that will more likely exist. Deal with the problems you have now. Not just by thinking I got problems, not just by saying I have problems, by asking how can I address those problems that I have now? Like, how could I solve this problem? And I know it's probably telling you something that you already figured out. You know, of course, how? Yeah, of course I'm thinking how. But dwelling on the problem means you're dwelling on the solution even less. Frame it such that you're going to find a solution, not that you have a problem. And finding that solution may take time. It may take talking to someone, a friend, family, a confidant, talking to a therapist, someone who might be able to provide better insight as to what you could do to address the problem. But what I'm telling you right now is if your problem is you spin out of control by stressing out about things that have not happened yet, you're wasting your energy. Stress out when they do happen. Absolutely. Like if they stop making Star Wars figures and you know this, and they're never going to be produced again, you have my permission to stress out. But only when we get to that bridge. You've got a journey that you're on right now. You're going to have to deal with the present, because the present is here and the immediate future is here. There's a distant possible future, right? Bring your stress into the now and deal with it in the now. And I'm not saying dealing with stress is easy. That's a completely different topic. I'm just saying don't stress out about things that haven't happened. Doesn't mean that your imagination can't run wild. I'm just saying don't let it get the best of you. Cross that bridge when you get there. It's reasonable to think of solutions to potential problems. It's not reasonable to stress out about problems that don't even exist yet. Or, keep stressing out about things that your imagination makes up. Because you got to get control of that. How? That's definitely beyond me, because everyone's got a different path. But consider what's rational, what's irrational, what's in the present, what's in the possible future, what's in your absolute future. Like, a week from now, I've got certain deadlines I got to meet. That's a problem. That's a stress. Okay, well, why stress out about something that may or may not happen when if I've got so much stress I can deal with in the day? That's a pretty big one. That's an important one. Or I got to get food, because if I don't get food, I won't eat. That's kind of a stress. But, I got that. I can take care of that. I know how to solve that problem. I go shopping, right? Or I know how to solve the problem of hitting a deadline. Do the work, right? Okay, good. Done. Just got to do it. And then it's time management. But part of that time management is not wasting your time on things that may never happen. Those eventualities that only exist in your head. Because if you don't get that in check, they're going to start impacting people around you, because you're going to be spending your time doing things that make no sense. Like, what are you doing? Well, I'm getting all the Star Wars figures, because what happens if they stop making them? And then everyone else is going to look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, do you know something I don't know? Did they say they're going to stop making them? No, but they might. Yeah, and aliens might invade, and that changes everything. But until it happens, like, unless you've got some kind of information that I'm not privy to, you gotta consider that before you start stressing out and making decisions for yourself that are impacting other people. And yes, even snapping up Star Wars figures for yourself like that, if it could impact other people, right? Maybe it's not in your budget. Maybe other people wanted the Star Wars figures, but you're only grabbing them because you're afraid that something bad is going to happen, they're going to stop making them. Okay. Y'all have my permission that if they ever stop making Star Wars figures, you can come back to me. You also have my permission that if aliens invade, I want your word right now. I'm streaming this live on Twitch. As I'm saying this, I need your word. If aliens do invade, I need you, first thing, to come back to this post and say, Chris, you told me not to worry about this. No. I told you not. I told you let's cross that bridge when we get there. That'll be a completely different topic of discussion. But you have my permission to say, I knew I should have worried about this, Chris, and you told me not to. It can happen, but is it likely to happen? Stress out about things you can deal with. Problems that you can solve because they're actual problems, not just theoretical problems that your mind has apparently given you. The mind is a very powerful thing, and it is completely up to you whatever path you take, because I'm sure there are many solutions to this. I always, like I said, I think about solutions, even to problems that may not exist. Well, if that happens, then I'll do this, right? Okay. Done. I've thought of a solution. Great. I'm not going to stress out about it. Until I get there. If I get there. And I may never likely get there. You feel me? So now you have my permission. If we get invaded by aliens, then we're all in trouble. We are all in trouble. When aliens invade, stop all the Star Wars figure production? It would, Mighty Bean. If aliens invade, it's going to stop a lot. A lot. My lips have been chapped lately, and I don't know why. But this is about done. About 3 minutes here. Came out pretty well. I kind of like it in this translucent filament. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's solid, but it looks like it's not solid, right? Chapstick is a slippery slope. It is. Put it on last night. Don't think I put it on today, except for now. Maybe it was just all the talking. Dry mouth or whatever the hell it is. I should be able to... This is a print-in-place smartphone holder. He made, like... The modeler made, like, 3 of them. This is the large. There was, like, small, medium, and large. I'm like, well, might as well do large, because, you know, you can always put a small phone on a large stand. That was my logic, right? But see, that's, you know, even with 3D printing, right? I'm not going to be printing things for a problem that I don't yet have. Like, okay, what happens if I need this? Well, then I can print it. Why print something now for a future problem that may or may not happen, right? You feel me? Did that make any sense at all? I thought it made sense. Because I know people sometimes stress out about things that might happen in the future that never really do. And then they waste all that time. They waste all that energy. Deal with the now. Deal with the reality, man. Let's do this. Then we get to try it out. Then we get to see if it works. We'll see what kind of stand it is. Stand in the place where you print. Or maybe not. Extruding the filament. Boy, I'm all about the UHF album tonight, aren't I? Oh, I had 2 weeks of vacation time coming after working all year down at Big Roy's Heating and Plumbing. So one night as my family and I were gathered around the dinner table, I said, kids, if you could go anywhere in this great big world now, where'd you like to go to? They said, Dad. Well, okay, close enough, Kurt. We want to see the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. They picked the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. So the very next week, we loaded up the car with potato skins and pickled wieners, crossword puzzles, Spider-Man comics, and Mama's homemade rhubarb pie. Pulled out of the driveway, and my neighbors, they all waved goodbye. And so began our 3-day journey. We picked up a guy holding a sign. Oh, I probably should have waited. It said, twine ball or bust. He smelled real bad, and he said his name was Bernie. I put in a slim Whitman tape. My wife put on a brand new hairnet. Kids were in the back seat, jumping up and down, yelling, "Are we there yet?" And all of us were joined together in one common thought as we rolled down the long and winding interstate in our 53 DeSoto. On our way to see the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. They picked the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. We drove we drove 3 days straight through for 3 whole days to get there. Oh God, what was the next part of the lyric? What was the next lyric? Midnight. Of course, we stopped for more pickled wieners now and then. Scenery was just so pretty, boy. I wish the kids could have seen it. Can't see anything out of the side of our car because our windows were completely covered with the decals from all the places where we've already been. Like Elvis Rhymer, Tupperware Museum, Bull Weevil Monument, and Cranberry World. Shuffleboard, Hall of Fame, Poodle Dog Rockin', and Mecca of albino squirrels. Been to ghost towns, themes parks, wax museums, and a place where you can drive through the middle of a tree scene. Alligator farms and tarantula ranches, but there's still one place we gotta see. Oh, we crossed the state line about 6:59, 39, and we saw a sign that crossed the state line about 6:39, and we saw the sign that said Twine Ball exit 50 miles. Oh, the kids are so happy they started singing 99 bottles of beer. No, that wasn't it. Oh, God, I've lost it. I've lost it. Was that it? Twine Ball exit 50 miles. But what was the next lyric? That couldn't have been it. That couldn't have been the lyric. Because I was thinking, like, kids are so happy they started singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall for the 27th time that day. You see, that didn't rhyme. Pulled off her. Oh no, I've lost it. I'm gonna have to, like, really? I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again and go, oh, that was it. Is that it? Really? I'm not cheating. I'm, like, trying to remember it. I'm trying to go by memory. Ooh, this one's kind of tough. Hopefully we don't have a fused spot here. So we pulled off the road to the last chance gas station, got a few more pickled wieners and a giant chocolate soda. On our way to see the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. That's okay. To do that kind of thing. Chris did not find the paints. I think it was actually a giant chocolate soda, not a diet chocolate soda. Giant chocolate soda. On our way to see the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. Out in the distance. On the horizon, out in the distance, it appeared to me like a vision before my unbelieving eyes. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it because I'm missing a fair amount of it. This printed place may very well fused, too. And there's that. So that worked. Okay. Ooh, that does not want to. Oh, I see. Because I got to put it in the front. Okay, so I got to get this up. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm missing some of the lyrics, Kurt. I blanked on them. Gave our camera to Bernie and we stood by the ball. Then we all gathered around and said cheese. Then Bernie ran away with my brand new Instamatic, but at least we got our memories. Oh, we all just stared at the ball for a while. Then my eyes got moist and I said with a smile, kids, this here's what America is all about. Then I guess I started feeling kind of funny inside, and I got on my knees and I cried, and that's when those security guards threw us out. Oh, I bet if... No. Is that... And I bet if they unravel that sucker, it'd roll all the way down to Fargo, North Dakota. 'Cause it's the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. I'm telling it's the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. Minnesota. How do you not know that song? Of course, I'm saying that by not knowing half the lyrics. It's been a while since I've last listened to it. I guess I will not be able to drink from the fire hose. I've lost the right to drink from the fire hose. So here we go. So interesting. So it lays like that. I suppose you could also lay it like that, right? Landscape. Or, yeah, I'm glad you did the big one. That's not... It's got to do this. That's about as tall as it goes, right? Badgers! Badgers! We don't need no stinking badgers! Yeah, it worked. It's kind of cool. This will be a nice... I mean, this would make a nice gift. Well, you can get smartphone stands from anywhere. The only thing that would have made this better is if it had, like, Star Wars logos in here, right? That would have been cool. But it was like, I found it. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty quick print in place. It looks pretty clean. It's practical. So I figured I'd print this out, if only for Diana. So that way when she's got her phone or whatever, she can, like, use this to prop it up as she's charging or something like that. She can carry it around. I could always print out another one, too. For keeping around, because it's nice and stylish. The whole transparent, translucent makes this nice effect, stylish effect. So now I have a smartphone stand. Now I have a smartphone stand, and an elbow cam. Girls will be back in 20 days. So less than a month. 20-ish days, yeah. Let me check. Give me a second. I will give you an accurate... And I plan on getting my my hair cut, not like you care. Monday is my 14-year Twitch anniversary, by the way. Monday. I don't know what I'm going to do to celebrate. Maybe I should get a little cake. I'll have a vegan cookie or something like that. About 20 days from now, on the 25th. So, the 25th. We are within the month. Good evening, Siniup. I have printed a stand. This is a smartphone stand. I suppose you could use it for anything, that you can lean up, right? Print in place, practical. The person who designed it did a really good job. I like the print in place stuff like this, like the practical print in place stuff is kind of cool. I like the flexi stuff, like that Fix'em dude has done, and I like the print in place practical stuff. you know, my only concern was how well was it going to work, and this worked exceedingly well. And it didn't really take a lot of filament either, right? I put this filament on because I was like, well, I don't know if I want to use the white filament for it, but maybe like something that's more, you know, translucent, right, for the effect. Kind of stylish, but yeah, probably sell it up. Yeah, that's true. I probably could. It was definitely built for the smartphone, although he's got smaller versions of this available too. I've been really happy with the tablet keyboard stand that I use, so now you need some rubber grippers. Well, I mean, I'm not too worried about that because like when you're standing your smartphone, you're probably not moving it around a lot anyway. So, Pilsy says looks like it could be Vader operating table. It kind of does, doesn't it? I've got that. I've got it like over across the room. I have that one. Yes, yes, I have that. Yes, I have it. So Diana's gonna be hopefully pleasantly surprised with this. Oh, cool. You never know what she's gonna say. The next thing I gotta see what I can find. Why do you suddenly hear John Williams? I don't know. I have... The only other thing I was looking for is like lighted mirrors. Because Diana's got one, but I'm not sure I like it as much. I think we can find one that doesn't necessarily plug in. And I mean, I don't know if they make them where they're battery powered with the mirrors. But I mean, it's possible they might. But I like the one. I'd rather have it so that it doesn't plug in. But most of them, it's you're not so lucky with it. All of them have, like, I think all of them are. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a port. There's a portable one. It's also got Bluetooth. That's not a bad idea. Give me a second. I'll have to message Diana because that one's kind of on sale. Oh, apparently I don't know that Family Guy joke. I must have missed that one. Anything else on anybody's minds, folks? Thinking anything? Because if not... Give me a second. That's what she said. I need to use the Utilistic. I know. You and Krusty are getting on my ass. I just haven't done it because I know, like, as soon as I do it, I'm gonna have to, like, do the first layer calibration thing. And I'm not, honestly, the Utilistic would have come in handy when I was doing all those figurines, which I kind of pulled back. I guess I need to do a translucent Vader. I realized, I'm like, oh, what can I do right now? I said, let me start a translucent Vader. Star Wars Boost. That was running the other night. Just I was flipping through the channels and they were doing the Family Guy Star Wars spoofs, which is pretty cool. Okay, this is an atomic filament. Infill 15. Doesn't matter. 0.2 mm. I promise, at some point, I will do the utilistic. But right now, I'm just not, I don't have the patience for it. But I do have the patience to print off a Vader. You gotta keep him Vader rated. Been in and out a few times, haven't said anything, didn't know how long I'd be able to take to stay. Oh, no worries. Everyone's doing well. I know, I wouldn't need the brim with the utilities. I know. But the brim's not that... Well, I guess you're right. It is kind of... No, the brim's really not that hard. The brim's really... not that much to deal with. Okay. I promise. I will do a utilistic. I will. I've got it right here, dude. I've got it, like, literally right here. It'll look nice, too. Look at that. Really nice. Silver, or goldish. But like I said, the first layer caliber... I gotta figure out, like, what's the, Hang on. Give me a second. What's the... Might as well do it, I guess. Ulti stick. Yeah, not utility. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't even say it. Okay, wait. Hang on. Before I do that. All right, Krusty. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. All right, so first I got to save the profile for this, don't I? There's like settings. No, that's not it. I got to look up where it is. There's a way to save the setting for this plate somewhere. Hey, Deviously Mango. Mr. Mango. Oh, Midnight Star. Well, you could read all about it in the weekly Midnight Star. Save. Bed. First level. Calibration. Settings, Prusa Mini. Where do you save it? Bed level correction. Nope. Ah, dang it. Brit, I currently have the, Atomic Clear. No yellow PLA. You follow me for more than a decade? Can you ask for some advice? You can always ask for advice, sure. Under calibration? No. Where do I save it? How long does it take to prehint the printer? I've never, like, actually gone through it. Like, I timed it, I guess. No, that's not it, right? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to... How do I... Where's the setting? I'll do it as soon as I figure... Okay, everyone's saying to change to the ulti stick, but, like, until I know where to save the setting for this particular bed, I'll wait. Okay, that's a good question, Lecter. Give me a second. Give me a moment, please. I'm going to start a print. I'm going to start a Darth Vader print here. In the transparent... By the way, did you see... This is the... for Brit, and Brit's still here, this is the filament. It's translucent, basically. So it's colorless. Might look really nice on a lithophane. I may want to try a Star Wars lithophane at some point with this. Be kind of fun. I needed to test something else, so I was like, all right, well, let me try it with this particular. I didn't want to waste another filament. I was like, what would be a good smartphone stand color? And so I went with that. All right, now we've got a question here. This is great advice here. Let me read it here. How can I make someone understand, a friend that then became my boss, that she has a huge micromanaging issue? Oh, man, you're stumping me here. Do you mind if I talk through this for a second, and then I'll kind of... Let me think about this here, Lecter. Okay. I'm going to trip through this, if you don't mind. Patience, everyone, and thank you, Lecter. Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate... I like when people are asking me questions like this. This is exactly... Those are exactly the types of questions that I like. So, I gotta be careful not to move my hands around. Lecter's Fridge popped into chat here as I was streaming live on Twitch, getting another 3D print going on the good old Prusa Mini. And they said, Chris, I followed you for more than a decade. Can I ask for advice if you're not too busy? And I was like, yeah, hang on, let me get this print started, and then I'll turn my attention. And they asked, this is a pretty good question, and I said, if you don't mind, I'm going to try to trip through this. Now, I've put it out there before. I'm only an expert in being myself. I'm only telling you what I might do in that situation. I'm not telling you what to do. Ultimately, you have to make the decision. I'm just going to kind of workshop this with you and possibly think of a couple solutions that maybe you've considered. And really, that's the ideation process that I would normally go through. Now, the question was, specifically, how can I make someone understand, and this happens to be a friend who then became this person's boss, that she has a huge micromanaging issue? So, it's good that you're recognizing what is readily a problem that you're having to deal with, and I'm assuming it's impeding your ability to progress through your tasks. I have had experience being a micromanager. And I had this experience because previously I had no experience in managing. I didn't have a management style. Never learned how to manage. And I could only manage myself. And I tend to think at the speed of fast. So when I first started my business back in the mid-90s, I had no experience. In many ways, 2 some odd decades later, I still feel like I don't have as much experience as I would like. But I learned very quickly that I micromanaged. And I was like, what does that mean? I would task jump. I would assign a task and then take care of it. And I wasn't aware of this being a problem until someone told me. And they told me, you're micromanaging. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, it means you're doing this. You're always looking over my shoulder. Like, just do you trust me to do the job or not? Did you hire me to do the job or not? I'm like, well, yes, but, I was expecting that it would be done by now, right? Well, then that should have been laid out in due course with the task. A due date, right? An estimated due date. And I would always, from that point on, yield. You know, I said, I need this done, or we need to get this done. When can you have it done? When do you think you could have it done by, right? Okay, next week. Okay, next week. Great. We'll mark it on the calendar. That way we know we'll follow up. So I learned when someone communicated to me that I was causing a problem based upon something that I was not meaning to do, but I was doing for potentially all the right reasons. Like, my mind was on the goal. My mind was not, you know, thinking about this is a personal endeavor. It's business, right? It's just got to get done. So the problem with that is when you assign someone a task, and then you're always looking over their shoulders, they're never going to have a chance to complete that task and never have any amount of satisfaction that they did the job. Or if they knew they could do the job, if you were always looking over their shoulder to make sure they were doing the job, oh man. And I tell you what, this is a problem for a lot of management these days, because now we're talking about remote work, and I'm telling you, I've been a remote worker pretty much all my life, right? Or at least, you know, since the mid-90s. I've always had a virtual office, right? So going to quote-unquote work just meant that I had to focus on getting tasks done, which is kind of what it's all about. So I feel that this is potentially going to be a big issue for people who are not accustomed to remote work and need more structure. The problem is, because of what is happening, specifically with seemingly half the world being completely incapable of dealing effectively with what appears to be a deadly virus that could potentially get even more deadly and impact even more lives as time goes on, thanks to certain choices that people are making. Personally, I made the choice to get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated for everything my entire life, and I see no reason to stop. This is for at least this particular issue with the coronavirus. Getting this done allows me to have a freer life, and its research has been going on for, you know, at least a decade, right? This is nothing new. What ended up being in the vaccine. So remote work is going to become a bigger challenge for people like this, because they can't physically look over your shoulder. They can't necessarily do it apart from on your time. So they can message you on a platform saying, hey, what's going on? Hey, are you done yet? Hey, did you get this done? Hey, how about this? What about that? Can you do this? Can you, like, you can't even finish the task because you got to keep up with them constantly retasking you, or potentially taking care of the task for you, right? When you were tasked something, they can't do it. But the thing is, thanks to asynchronous communication, you can kind of put them on hold, right? You can obviously see what their priority is. They want something done. So you have the ability to take control of that situation. Namely by communicating. It's not going to be a fun talk. So you could, instead of just say, you've got a problem with micromanaging, don't make it a you problem. You make it an I statement. I feel like I'm not able to do the job you've hired me to do and do it effectively if you are doing whatever she happens to be doing, right? Contextualize it, but make it about you. Like, I feel I can't do the best I can do because of X, and come up with a solution. Offer her a solution, or like a set of solutions, like 3 solutions. Solution A, we could use Trello or Asana or Monday.com or whatever, you know, task management system exists, right? We can use that. All right, is that reasonable? So that instead of interrupting my work, I can complete it. Is that, because I would like to complete the work that you've asked me to do, but do you want to do the work, or do you want me to do the work? It's a reasonable question, because they're going to answer, well, of course I want you to do the work. I'm like, well, then what am I not doing What am I not doing then? Because in this instance you did this, and then in this instance you did this. But I feel I'm not effectively communicating how it is I most effectively work. If you trust me to do this job, then please trust me to do this job. Now, and you make it fair. Like, you know, if I fall down and I do something wrong, and you feel free to step in and correct me, right? But until then, let me complete the task. The second thing, and this may have already happened, but okay, we could use a task management system, a centralized, cloud-based task management system, easy to use, and don't take this, well, I only like working in files and email attachments, and the way we've always done it works. Well, the way we're going to do it now is a way that I can get my job done for you. And you may have to be blunt. If she's your friend, she may understand. I understand. It's not an easy conversation. It's not. But if you don't communicate this sooner rather than later, you are going to blow your lid. Because they're not aware of the problem. I guarantee they're not aware of the problem. They may come up with an excuse and continue. So that's why I'm saying, come up with a solution. Right? So one of the things that I tried to do is at least come up with that, have deadlines, expectations. When do you think you could get this done by? I feel I could get it done by Monday. Okay, great. So by doing that, you're effectively taking the situation that's frustrating you and turning it around such that you're in control again. You're in control of your own destiny. You're responsible for finishing the tasks. If she's responsible for, if she's your manager, you got to make her look good. You got to succeed for her to succeed, right? That's how it works. But for you to succeed, you need to be able to explain to her kindly the problem and your potential solutions. I would like to work towards a solution to this because it is very difficult for me to complete these tasks because of X, Y, and Z. So you gotta have a talk. Honestly, I'm not gonna say 99% of the world's problems boil down to you've got to talk to someone, but honesty is such a good policy. Would you rather suffer for another week, or would you rather just rip off the Band-Aid? My recommendation, though, is, just look. I got to be direct. Make it an I thing. Careful about the you thing. Make it an I thing. Make it about you and how this doesn't really work for you. But how could we work together to change this such that I can get my work done? It does not help when I am interrupted every 5 minutes on a task that maybe we previously discussed I'd have done by the end of the week. Check in with me at the end of the week. If it's not done by then we'll talk. Another case might be that they may be micromanaging because you don't have regular meetings. Punt till the regular meetings. Don't talk about it. Ask, okay, I really don't want to be bothered with this until our meeting on Monday, our Monday meetings, our regular Monday meetings, something you can plan for, something you can expect. So I understand that. I've been, I'd say, somewhat blessed in feeling like I haven't had a micromanaging manager. I've been one, but recognizing that there are ways to better deal with that is even better. But then you've got to be responsible to be true on your word. See, that's where another breakdown happens, because in management, I generally will say, here's what needs to be done. This is when it needs to be done by. And then I feel on a very impersonal way, or in an impersonal way, I take a very laissez-faire attitude. Like, okay, you can do this. I know you can do this. So just do it. And if we run into problems, we'll fix it. It's not a big deal. And so, like, just, this is what you got to do. Great. Do it. Great. Awesome. Then I expect it to happen. That's it. And, I kind of let go. I'm like, well, they're here for a reason. They need help. Ask. I mean, I always say that. I'm like, if you need help with something, ask. Please, if you need help, ask. But that, again, comes down to communication. So many people get tripped up and caught up in their own mind. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to tell them I'm uncomfortable. What are you doing? Is your boss a mind reader? Like, or is any... no! Like, they're not. You have to tell them. You just got to figure out how to tell them, effectively communicate from your position, and give them solutions. Don't come to someone with the problem. Don't ever come to someone with the problem. This is probably another topic to dive into. Because you got to have a solution in hand. Don't come to me with a problem. Come to me with the problem and your solution, because that saves me time and gives me faith that you've considered the problem. So if she doesn't see you or recognize you as coming up with the problem and addressing it and confronting it, saying that you need to work through that, and have solutions in hand, she's probably not. She needs to recalculate her approach to management. Especially if you've been good on your word. If you've finished your tasks and it's never been a problem, and you've met your deadlines, she's got to learn to take a breath. Take a breath. I will get this done. The time that I don't get it done, I will explain why I can't get it done. But, until you fail, I don't see any reason why you should be micromanaged. Apart from the manager's insecurities. And I'm only saying that having been one, or not just insecurities, potentially inexperience, right? I've been in that position before, and I've learned, and it's still a learning process, but it boils down to communicating. You gotta tell them what you're thinking. You gotsta. It's not just giving them a problem, but the solution in hand. I'd be shocked. I'd be, in fact, if you tell her, which won't be a fun conversation, because you're stressed out. Clearly, because you don't know how to deal with it. But that's how I would deal with it. Based on my experience, based on me kind of workshopping this and talking through it. I do hope that that helps your situation. Good luck! I'll say you're not the only one. So, is that what you needed? Was that enough for you? Was that good? Was that what you needed? May not have wanted to hear it, but so much. Exactly the kind of advice you were expecting. Lecter, I am always good for advice. If nothing else, I am full of advice. You never know how I'm going to answer. Okay, so here's the thing, Lester. I just don't want to, you can't disappear on me, for one. When you do it, because you got to do it. You got to walk through that door. You got to come back and you got to tell me. I got to know. How'd it turn out? I got to know. Whoa! Thank you so much.
Lectors_fridge just gifted 5 subs.
That's an amazing tip. That is an amazing tip. I am blessed. Thank you very much, Lecter. Or Lecter's Fridge, I should say. The fridge of Lecter. It's very, very, I'm humbled. Thank you very, very much. That's very appreciated. Because I gotta know, did the advice work, right? Did you catch what I was saying about, when they message you, right? You can ignore them. It's asynchronous. Ignore them. Don't respond. But, you gotta deal with the problem, but, you don't have to respond to everything that they message you. Certainly not instantaneously. Especially if it's task jumping, or it's managing like that. Unless you've exceeded a deadline, it's just it's unreasonable. So yeah, that's what I was saying. They're messaging you what's going on? What's happening? Hey, did you do that? Did you do that? Are you doing this? Are you doing? I would do it if I wasn't spending so much time replying to your GD messages here. Or just reply with an animated GIF That's my Obama, I have a horrible, that's a horrible Obama impression, I know. Just kind of what are you doing? Or even someone what's going on? Me? You use that, I've used it all the time. I feel I should be able to put on my resume, can communicate in animated GIFs. skilled in replying in animated GIFs. Like, I know how to use a GIF. Every so often I choose the wrong one, but I dig pretty deep. I'm like, I don't just want to use a common one all the time. I'm like, what can I use for that? Oh, I can use that one. That's a good one. There's some ones that I've found once that I can never find again. Like, there was one where a woman was kind of like, she was looking kind of shocking them. And she did that, and I never found it again. I'm like, that's perfect. It's perfect. Kurt's been very fortunate in the time with the feds to not have any bosses who micromanage. Progress driven. How far along are you? Haven't gotten that far. What's the roadblock? Yep. That's good management. Progress is important. And the manager hired you because they believed you were fully capable of handling the problem. As so long as there is some measurement of progress and you've decided on what that's going to be. Oh man, I hear a beep out in the distance. One of my smoke alarms is apparently the battery is like dying. Oh, I hope I have a battery to replace it with. Yeah. So I'm lucky to have been, who've grown up to be able to manage myself. I don't think I'm a great manager. I'm not, because I had employees and contract workers. Liz was actually, she wasn't an employee necessarily, but a contract worker, and Ryan, who goes by, Daily Pone, he's in here every so often, then but there are a few people who I paid to work for years, and they still, we're still in touch, not as often as, I think Liz and I still talk more frequently than me with the others, but we still talk. So I know I wasn't a horrible guy, doesn't mean I was perfect, but yeah, I'm not sure I was cut out to do what it was that I was trying to do, and that was a learning process, because there was no one to turn to for help, because that was it. As far as like what decision to make, like what, and the decision that gets made is ultimately on my shoulders, and I was the one responsible. I feel I failed them. I really do. I feel I failed them, because it didn't, I couldn't do what needed to be done. I feel I failed. I failed them, because they counted on me, right, and I counted on them, but ultimately I did not have very many good options at that time. I'll say that. Not to say that's indefinite. Something could come around again. You never know. I don't know how I would deal with it, but resume entry full of lots of advice. Yes. I don't think I'll ever go down the path of being a life coach. I don't know. There's something about it's just kind of well, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I just want to say, hey, here's my advice. I'm a friend. I've had my experience. Happy to share it. Happy to share my perspective. Diana's always ignored my advice. She always stops ignoring my advice when she realizes I'm right. Yeah, I've got to change the smoke alarm battery down there. So funny. So pounded through 2 bits of advice tonight. Long story short, she grew too fast. She's really young, so I know she's learning to be the boss. She was alone a year alone, but this issue is damaging everything, her biz and our friendship. Yeah, Lecter, you need to sit her down. You need to sit her down. She needs to understand. She's in my boat, dude. She's in the boat I was too, and it's nerve-wracking. Look, I know it's scary. It's scary to let go of this task, but you brought me in for a reason. Let me show you what I can do. I can only show you what I can do if I can do it. I can make your life easier. Let me let your life be easier, okay? It's okay. Don't worry. Here, how about this? We'll talk about it every Monday. I don't want to talk about it in between. You feel me? Monday, we'll do a one-on-one. What one uses to motivate themselves may not be something that motivates others. That's true, too. That's very true. Motivations are always different. But, I don't think anybody out there... are you taking notes, Lecter? You may have to, because I didn't put that in, the full clip, but... I think you get a read on it. Yeah, Krillin just got a gift from Lecter. I gave Lecter some advice, Krillin, that they asked for, and hopefully it works. And so their tip in return was gifting subs, which is a wonderful tip. Everyone wins. I love that. Yeah, I'm exactly. I'm here because you thought I was good enough to do the job. Allow me to do that job without constant distraction. I mean, it's just like, but it's hard. I mean, I can tell you as someone who's, you know, I don't want to micromanage, but like I need certain things done by a certain time. And even I've had this conversation with Diana. I'm like, we don't really have a mountain of responsibilities like that we need a task list, but I'm like, I think like, should we have a task list with due dates that you've got to be responsible for meeting? It's your responsibility, right? Like, and then I will not talk about it. I won't, up until, unless we have, like, seriously, like weekly meetings, weekly updates. Well, I did this, I paid that, I did this, we're staging this, we got that. How's this going? What do you want to do here? What's our plan for this? All right, good. We're not going to talk about it for the rest of the week. It's just that time. Because that time in between, your time management's important. You know what's on the line, and progress needs to happen. And that's your responsibility. You're tasked with one thing. I'm tasked with something else. Do I leave my past show? Yeah. The archives do exist here. I also upload the full archives to my legacy, one of my old YouTube channels. I also clip out the advice. One of the reasons why you saw the picture-in-picture disappear in the chat and all the elements, that advice that I gave you is actually going to be on my original YouTube channel, Living in Infamy. Yeah. Time management lessons? That's a different topic. I can give advice on time management too. So yeah, that's definitely not a problem. That comes down to how strong you feel and how accountable you are for your own actions. Be a grown-up. Even if you're a teenager, this is what grown-ups have to. That's part of being grown up. Right? That's why it always kind of pisses me off when people say, "Oh, why do you keep buying all the Star Wars stuff?" Well, because I have fun with it. Well, you should. I should what? I should do something I don't enjoy doing. I take care of every one of my responsibilities. Like that's my self-care. That's what I enjoy doing. I love that. I need something to enjoy too, beyond just taking care of my responsibilities and patting myself on the back, job well done. It's accountability. But I've never had a problem with time management. Ever had a problem with time management. Ever. Never. It just, I mean, I know when I need to get something done. I'm like, it's got to get done. Because no one else is going to do it. If no one else is doing it, it's my job. And sometimes I don't know what my job is. Like, okay, I got to get it done. It needs to be done. I don't care who does it. It just needs to be done. Like that battery that's beeping right now. Like if I'm in the middle of doing something, like, okay, I will take care of it when it's done. Because if I don't take care of it, it's going to keep beeping. Or just like the dishes in the sink. Diana's having a busy day. All right, well, I'll do the dishes today. It's never been her responsibility or my responsibility. It's just it gets done when it gets done. Right? Or putting the dishes away. Or pulling them out of the dishwasher. It's kind of a shared responsibility. Or prepping the trash. It's a shared responsibility. So... adulting is overrated. I concur with my esteemed colleague, who you should all be following, Nerdy Curious. If we did not get a shout out for Nerdy Curious, I think that'd be a good idea. You're a grown up, you can do whatever you want if you're taking care of what needs to be done. That's what I'm saying. You cannot have rights without responsibility. Or I saw this is like it was a meme. Rights without responsibility is adolescence, right? You have rights, but you have responsibility. So if you want rights, you also need responsibility. You need your responsibilities, and you need to be held accountable for the responsibilities that you fell short on. In that lack of accountability is only just going to create more and more frustration because you're responsible. If you've got a task and you're holding on to it, you're responsible, which means you have to manage your own time because I don't want to manage your time. Apart from things that need to be done at a certain time, right? I don't want to say what you got to do, right? Like to an adult, to a kid. I happen to be in the mindset that it should be far more regimented than it is around here. I've said that. Diana knows it. Like, I think you wake up at a certain time, you go to bed at a certain time. You do this at a certain time, you do that at a certain time. I believe that kind of structure is good for children. It's been shown to be good for children. Like, just this is like making it a free-for-all, I don't think is a great idea. like in terms of a schedule, because that makes it more difficult for the adult to manage their time. Because it's absolutely critical. Because otherwise responsibilities fall to the wayside, and then you're not accountable for the responsibilities that you fell short on. So I want to be able to work towards solutions so that the progress doesn't have roadblocks. Because if that happens, we're going to have this discussion again. It's accountability for the responsibilities that you have in managing your own time. And part of managing your own time is managing somebody else's time if that impinges on your ability to manage your own time. Used to have a hard time with putting things off. It just makes things harder on you in the long run. Well, not only that, but if you put things off, it's like you're putting me off, or you're putting things off. It creates a problem in the long run, not just for you, but for everybody else. And it's not responsible. It's like, I'll take care of it later. No, like if it's something that you need to take care of, then you need to plan for that. You need to strategize on how you're going to execute on that. It's not easy, especially for people that aren't used to it. But like when you're tied into someone like me, I'm like, no, I'm not interested in punting on this stuff. It needs to happen. This needs to be taken care of. We need to understand this problem before we can begin to solve it. Before it comes upon us, we can't ignore the problem and then it goes away. So it's about making those decisions. You're impacting other people's lives when you put that stuff off, and it's not fair. And it's not right, because I'm responsible for my stuff. I expect other people to be responsible for their stuff too. And accountable when they fall short on that responsibility. Because believe you me, that angers me even more. I'm like, dude, I'm accountable for the things that I'm responsible for. I'm accountable. The buck stops here. I don't expect, I demand that from anybody else. Because I expect that for myself. So if you need to switch projects, put one on the back burner. Oh, absolutely. But like we gotta work. Oops, sorry. We know you gotta work through that kind of stuff. It's not an option, because we keep running into the problem where a responsibility falls through the cracks. Not a responsibility that I was responsible. There's ongoing responsibility. There's deadline responsibility. You need to take care of this, right? You need to do this. You need to do that. It's like it has to be done. I mean, especially if there's a date associated. So, yeah, you got to hold yourself to the standard. Don't hold someone else to a standard that you're not willing to hold to yourself. That's my thought. That's how I feel. I would never expect Diana to do something I was not willing to do myself, or not able to do, right? You know. You feel me? So, who do we have to raid tonight? Who should we raid? Who should we raid? Who? Because I gotta change that battery, dude. It's driving me nuts. It's seriously driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's a real shame, Show Guy. Let's start to see, guy.
Oh, there's that Square guy streaming. He loves hanging out. He's a Lego streamer. Any recommendations for a raid? Anybody? New Future Tech 3D, thank you.
New Future Tech 3D just resubscribed for 5 months.
Thank you. Appreciate you using your Prime sub on me. Very, 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 very kind of you. Yeah, Nerdy Curious. People taking responsibility for their actions. Well, isn't that a concept? You'd be surprised at how many people punt that ball and how many problems that creates. Especially if other people have to work with them. Hey, Draconian Cypher, just getting ready to like wind down. Been at it for a couple of hours. I got to change a beeping smoke detector alarm thing because it's driving me nuts. And I've got Schmigadoon and Ted Lasso episodes to watch, I believe. So, and then I'm going to be making popcorn. So I got to take my responsibility. Change the battery. Can you hear it beeping that far off? And then I get to enjoy myself. Are you enjoying Schmigadoon? I'm like, it's kind of like the premise was just a little outlandish. I'm like, all right, I'll try one episode. I'm like, okay, I like this. This is pretty good. There are some slow parts, but I'm like, okay. The songs are a bit repetitive, but but it is good. Ted Lasso's awesome. It's corny in Broadway, so you're in? Yeah, I know. I'm totally in. I'm hoping that, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I really want to take my daughter to see West Side Story, the new one from Spielberg, if and when this virus thing passes. If and when. Battery change, then popcorn. Hillsy, that's how I got to do it. Tomorrow I'm going to be back, of course, 6 p.m. Pacific with cereal. It's going to be a Timbits weekend because Liz sent me cereal from Canada. If anybody else lives elsewhere on the globe with different cereal that I haven't tried that's vegan, that's full of good stuff, tasty stuff, fun stuff, I'm interested. Because, you know, trying cereals from around the world, because I'm running out over here. Running out of cereals over here. You're watching Suicide Squad. Okay, I'm going to be interested in what you say. I enjoyed it. It was a nice summer film. Not my fandom. I like Marvel movies a little more, I feel. But it was good. Yeah, I'd have no problem recommending it. I'd say, yeah, it's worth a watch. I enjoyed it. But not like, oh my god, it was so good. It was good. I mean, 95% Rotten Tomato score? Oh. Think you have something in Mexico? Oh, yeah, Lecter, yeah. My, Lecter, here... Okay, so beyond cereal, because I'm vegan, so I got to be careful about the ingredients. I try to avoid I definitely avoid hydrogenated oils. Anything with gelatin, like marshmallows, I can't eat unless it's vegan. But Mexico gets different Star Wars stuff. Like, y'all get things that we never get here. Like, some things go just to Canada, some things just go to UK, some things just go to Japan, some things go just to Mexico, and I never get them. Unless people find them, and I'm like, oh, I'll pay you to send it. Yeah, send it along. You ever find anything that's like Star Wars, like, you know, you're like, hey, Chris, here's a bag that's only available in Canada. Do you want it? Yes, how much does it cost? Yes, I do. Because I can't, unfortunately, 3D print everything. I can 3D print this. Again, I probably won't. I've got one. I'm good. Kind of, like I said, I'm really disappointed that I can't get into that crack and crevice. I may have to get... Oh, I can probably take tweezers to it, maybe. I'll do that. That's the same way with gaming and special editions. Oh, it drives me nuts. You're a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm sure you'll find... Oh, yeah, Lecter, if you're a huge Star Wars fan, like I am, obviously, I'm 3D printing a new Vader figure in this translucent filament, not transparent. I have so much Star Wars and need more. That's the way especially the international stuff. I eat that up. The food stuff is kind of fun too. The cereal, I kind of make it a thing. But being vegan makes it a little more difficult. So, a lot of people tonight are playing games. Even Big Jano is playing Fall Guys Ultimate. But y'all know Big Jano? Oh, wait, hang on. He's hosting someone. He just raided, so he's raiding a dance party person. Is this dance? He's Electric Beach? He raided a beach party dancer person. Who do we have that might need it? Business is going to be doing. It looks like. It says The Last of Us Part 2, which is really weird. Who else is live? Ryan56K. Meg is doing a gamer quilt. So she's sewing. That's kind of cool. I like the maker and crafting people. Oh, this dude builds guitars? That's cool. This person is doing music. Ryan56K is doing gems. Did we ever raid this guy? Because I've come across him before. This guy's spinning gems, dude. This is kind of cool. Okay, we're gonna raid this guy. Yeah, Jay Harley, no doubt about that. We're gonna raid Ryan56K. Because I'm not sure if we ever raided him before. But he's doing gems. He's cutting gems, which is really cool. You love that in Japan? Poppy released the Kenner figs in beautiful boxes. Bit spendy, though. Oh, I bet. Especially now, with Kenner gone. Hopefully his stream's quality's better than 56K. Well, you never know. So that's who we're going to raid tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the Force be with you always. Come back for more advice tomorrow. Cereal, it's a Timbits weekend. I'm trying both of them this weekend. They're both vegan. And then I'm 3D printing something else tomorrow. I will have started it, hopefully timed it so that it will finish during the show. It's kind of cool. Fix'em Dude helped me kind of stage it. I'm hoping it turns out okay. But it's going to be a good one. Tomorrow's print is going to be really good. And I don't always say that. Like, trust me, it's going to be a good one. And then, of course, live streaming every day, 6 p.m. We're Tusken rating someone who does gems. He's, actually does gems, which is really cool. I love finding those types of creators here on Twitch, so I'm always looking for recommendations. Feel free to jump over onto Discord if you are so inclined. Discord link is right there. I don't send out notifications for every live video that when I go live, because you get Twitch notifications when that happens. But I usually do send out a notification when a new advice video and the archive video gets posted to YouTube. So there you go. Tusken rating, Ryan56K, you got your Perillo Raider emotes ready? Perillo Raider emotes ready? Tusken rating in 3, 2, 1.
Because the way the crystal structure grows on a diamond is so perfect.
This guy's wild.
Symmetrical. Wow, what up, Chris? Yo, what's up, everyone? How's everyone doing tonight? Yeah. What's up, guys? We're cutting some gemstones tonight. Let's give Chris a shout out. What's up, dude? Thank you so much for the follow. Yeah! What were you working on tonight, Chris?